Hello again, everybody. This is Jasmina, and in this video, I'm going to talk about activating your intelligence. And by this, I mean activating your ability to work smart and to learn fast. The very best sector that you can use in your house is the sector with the facing star 4. And this is a great location for a home office or a study room for your children. It's the best place to work or to learn. Now, you might not have this sector in your house. It could be missing. It could be a room that's impractical to use. So there are other sectors, but this one is the best one. Now, this also applies to children and adults. It's a great place for your kids to study, and it's also a good place for them to become more interested in some sort of activity beyond like playing video games, creating them could be one, but that probably doesn't earn them much money in the long run. But this is the kind of thing that's really good for them to advance their interest in something that could potentially give them a very enjoyable future. Now, this is also a very good location if you want to turn a hobby into a side gig. And most of the time we really are talking about a side gig, because if you have a hobby and you try to turn it into a full-time job, it often becomes less enjoyable. But as a temporary or a sideline thing, this can give you a lot of enjoyment. I bake very well. And I've had many people tell me I should start a catering business for baking. But I actually enjoy baking, and I do not want to turn it into a business. So I always say no to that idea. Now, in a bedroom, and this is especially true of your children, you can use the small Tai Chi sector to locate the desk in the facing star location. Now again, this may not be able to happen. If this is where a door is located, it's basically not practical. So sometimes your house can give you some difficulties for this, but still there are other locations. You can use this in your own bedroom too. It's not so bad for kids because kids can turn off their minds usually much easier. Whereas adults, if they are working in their bedroom, it tends to develop into some insomnia because they're a bit too focused on it and it's hard for them to turn it off. But for kids, it's okay. Now, everybody also has an academic star, and this will be an animal sign. And this animal sign will tell you which subsector you can use to learn. Now, the academic star really only becomes super effective during certain months. So this can be a little tricky, but this can still be used. The Chimen sector of your residence with the delusion door is also a useful sector for gaining knowledge, and I will talk about this too. So this sector is actually better for learning than for working. So if you have the possibility, you can put your home office where your facing star 4 is, and put your kids' study room here where the delusion door is. Now, if these two happen to coincide with each other, which is possible, not maybe likely, but possible, then that sector is very powerful, and it's a very good one to use for your home office. Now, if you are wanting to find the small Tai Chi sector, you can watch my Chi Flow video. This can help you find this location in your children's bedroom, or even in your own. So let's talk about here, we're going to look for our intelligence or our academic star. And what you need is the Daymaster, which is here. And then you find it in this table. And this is the sector. And this is truly a randomly chosen Batsu. It's not anybody I know or anybody I've analyzed. And this is the sector you want to be in. And you can use this all the time, but it will only be really, really effective during certain months. And that will be when the month star is 4. Now, if you happen to also have where the year star is 4, which will only happen once every 9 years, it can even be more powerful. And this year, the center star is 4, and not terribly useful because there is no animal sector in the center. So next year, you have a better chance. And you want that star 4 to be in your academic star subsector. And so I've done the work for you. You can check me. I actually like it when people check me because I do make mistakes. I am human. But if your Daymaster, we had yin fire, well, that is the rooster. And you can see that this works because if we have 2, 3, 4, there's the west, because this is the low shu. Well, it's the low shu pattern. This is, of course, south, north, east, and west. So this is how you find it. And this would also be true when we have a year 2, when the annual star is 2 and the month star is 2, then there'll be a double 4 here. And that will be a super powerful one. Now that won't happen until 2025 to have the annual star being 2. But next year, when the annual star is 3, we're going to have a 4 here. So next year, the northwest, if you're yang metal, you have a very good year to be working in the northwest. So this is how you can figure out when it's very good. And when we have a month star of 3, the 4 will also be here. It'll be a super good year. Next year, it'll be very good for people who have the yang metal Daymaster, if they're wanting to learn, that is. If they're wanting to earn money, it's still important because that'll help you work smarter. Now, the best activation is effort, working or studying in that area. But a normal sized fishbowl is also okay because water grows wood and 4 is wood, so it's okay. But you also want to check your natal star chart. You don't want to accidentally activate a negative star or when you control a star, sometimes it can have some negative effects. So if this had a 2 or a 5 in this sector, and you did not have a permanently good activated special formation that makes all stars become timely for all periods, then you have to be a little careful. You have to be careful which stars you may be activating. So the fishbowl is not necessary, especially if you have negative stars. But it is good for activity. It doesn't matter as long as it's not like construction in that room. That would be a negative if you have negative stars. Now, stars 3 and star 9 can be negatively affected by adding water, because star 3 will be activated just like star 4, but this can be lead to arguments. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Star 9 is it's a very good star. It's a good star to have, and water actually weakens 9. So they can be negatively affected, but 2 and 5 can become problematic. And it's not required to add water. So again, you've got to look at your natal stars to know what you should do. And of course, if you do have one of the combo 10, pearl or parent string, or 7-star robbery that's activated, then you don't have to worry about this so much, but I would still be worried about 3 and 9 because those will be activated. Well, actually 3 you don't have to worry about. 9 you still do because that'll still weaken 9 a bit. The activity is required if you want to activate your intelligence sector, your academic star. So this is the month and year cycle of the stars. These are the annual stars, and this is the monthly stars, and they follow a very simple pattern. I have a video if you want to see the whole thing, you can. But you will note that every year the stars go down by 1, and every month they do the same. And we end up with 6 here, we start at 5 here, end up with 3 here, start at 2, end up with 9, and we start at 8. So there's a 3-year cycle in the month stars, but there's a 9-year cycle in the year stars. But we're really concerned about the month stars. So we were talking about star 2 for people who had the yin fire daymaster. Well, this very soon this year we are going to have a very good month for them because we have the star 2. And so you can just use these charts, and it's not hard to use these charts forever. You just have to keep track of which kind of year we're in. So in 2026, we'll have the same month, but this star will be 1 rather than 4. And this will actually be a pretty good year in terms of this thing, because the 1 has good general effects on the house. Now, if for some reason you're not able to use your residence facing star 4 sector, you can use the Chi-Men delusion door sector. And this is a bit complicated to get, but it can be done. Now, if you do get very lucky, these 2 locations can coincide. There's no reason why they can't. And then if they do, it's even more powerful sector. The Chi-Men spirit that will occur with the delusion door is a little bit important. It's better if it's positive, and the worst one is probably the hook. The tiger is probably not terribly good either, but the hook, it has a tendency to help you exaggerate things so that instead of just exaggerating, you turn over into telling untruths, basically lies. So this is a little dangerous. Now, if you have a very good friend that can be completely honest with you, and I mean even to the point of being brutally honest, they can help keep you on the right track. But there is another way. I mean, you can, if you come up with an idea in this sector, you need to spend a fair amount of time outside this sector really examining the ideas to make sure that you're not going down the wrong track, that your desire to have something new, it doesn't overwhelm your desire to be honest. Unfortunately, the location of the delusion door is very complex, as the location of any of the doors is quite complex. It depends on the facing direction, the main door sector, and the period of time in which the building was built. These are all factors, or at least the period of time in which the building is in, not necessarily when it was built. However, I have a video that will give you the time and date that you can look up to find your house's or your building's chart. And if it's an apartment or a condo, you're going to be using the door. And I describe that quite well in this video. You use your balcony door if you're an apartment or a condo. Otherwise, you'll use your house's main door regardless. Now, activity, and this delusion door is really better for studying. It the best activity is actually studying. It's the only real activator. The Chiman chart is never activated by elements, as far as I know. It is just activated by being in there, doing the activity that is related to the properties within the delusion or within that sector. So at one point in time, the moon sector, at least according to Joey Yap, was supposed to be your sector where you try to become more educated. This is where you would learn something. However, he has changed. Now he also agrees with the Chiman, the Chinese Metasoft site, that it is the delusion doors where you should really be doing learning, research, this kind of thing. So, and this is one reason why I don't trust Joey Yap's stuff 100%, because he hasn't been the most consistent person out there. Whereas I think that this delusion door has been a consistent thing with the Chinese Metasoft site, although I'm not 100% sure about that. So, in summary, your very best place to use is where you have your facing star 4 sector in your flying star chart. It's good for work, to work smartly, efficiently, and it's also good for study. So if you work from home, this is a fantastic place to have your home office. If you only work outside of the house, this could be a very good study room for your kids if you have any. The delusion door sector is probably second best, but it's really only for gaining new knowledge or doing research, which is using new knowledge to come up with something new. And there are people who do this for a living, but they're pretty rare, actually. You can use the facing star 4 sector within your bedroom by using the small Tai Chi. And I have a video about that. And you just apply the house's flying stars over a single room. And then you see where the facing star 4 is. And that's where you would place your desk. Not always can you use this, though. If there's a door where that sector is in your bedroom, you probably can't use it. So there are times when you cannot use this. But the small Tai Chi sector in general is better to use in your children's bedroom than your own bedroom, because kids can turn off their mind a lot easier, or at least most kids can. Now, if you cannot use any of these sectors, then your next best bet is your personal academic star, and that's only really powerful when the star 4 enters that sector. The month star 4 enters that sector, or it's actually a subsector. And but it's still a good place to use. So that kind of concludes this video. Please feel free to contact me here if you have any questions, or leave a comment. And I have a video that can help you with your facing sector on my website here. And if you subscribe, I will have regular new videos and regular monthly videos too. Thank you again for watching.